today's plenary session, next plenary session. It's my special pleasure to chair this session because the speaker center of this talk is Manuel Castro, a very good colleague and a very good friend of mine. I think most of you know Manuel good. He is professor at Open University in Madrid. He is president-elect of the Instrumentation Society, and I think I could speak now all the time about your work and your titles what you have. So I think we are all keen to hear your presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Michael, for the last Manuel. Thank you very much for organizing of this conference. Yes. I will try to give you some ideas, some details about the one step ahead. I will not try to see the future, it's impossible to see the future. I'm more in that technology changing area that we are making the revolutions every 3 or 4 or 5 years. And it's impossible to see revolutions. You can see where we will go. The idea is to try to talk with you during this time. It's very difficult to fight against the siesta time. In Spain, siesta time, there's time for siesta, is the best time for siesta. And for the Goshua that we take as a sweet dessert, there was a really nice sweet finishing of the lunch today. Real-time presentation. I will talk then about some bit of education. Mainly my talk is about education. I'm a professor in the Spanish University for Instrumentation, our open university in Spain. We have in Spain like itself. I'm working in distance education for the last 30 years. Then I will talk again. As I told you, I was working in distance education. I worked there. I started several years ago. I started in electronics, mainly communications, telematics, and now I'm more devoted to engineering education and some different views of this. And one of my roles there, and one of my higher part of my group, is working in technology enhanced education and remote labs as this part of this, because this is a clear application for our students. We have in our university around 250,000 students in UNED. This is the largest university in Europe. We have mainly devoted, of course, for university depressed people, university students there. Open University in UK is larger than us, but it's more devoted to lifelong learning. And major part of our work, we have 2 titles there in engineering, one is in computer science, another one is in electronics and electrical and mechanical engineering there. And of course, this part of remote labs is the bigger part of our effort to increase the capacity and the competencies of our students there. Then I will talk about a little bit in education. Education is changing. We start for this. I saw this slide last year. Rob Brillis, our president in our education society, uses it. This is a typical view of some years ago. Many years ago, education, the teacher tries to put all the information inside the brains of the students, but now we have the rule of different songs, words. Well, there are not squares, there are some words, but we talk about engaging, adaptive, open, analytics, addictive, disruptive, social, any kind of word that you have in mind is applicable today to the education, because we try to engage as much as possible our students to have a better education there. We are involved in Europe, major part of you are from Europe, in the Bologna process. Bologna process make a really disruptive change in education, tries to do this disruptive change, tries to change from the one person speaking to a lot of students trying to give him the information, and try to have a different view in education, a different view in collaborative education in this case. And we are now involved in this process in Europe, and especially one of this part. We'll have probably change in some part of the Bologna process in Spain for the next couple of years, but the major speed will remain there. We are going to open education. Open education is one of the big parts of the challenge that we have now. This open education is open content mainly. We have a lot of open content education in the world now. MIT started it with MIT several years ago. But this open education has no interaction, of course, has a few assessments you put inside the courses there, and has no certification at all. And our changes, our real challenge now is the new Web 2.0 education, new open 2.0 education, where content will be complemented with interaction, will be complemented with assessment, and in some cases, and now the more complicated part, is the certification. How you will certificate one person that is in India, one person that is in South Africa, making a course that you never see him, and you never have any kind of information that this person is the person that's sick. It's a not solved question now, and a lot of new strategies are starting this to try this, clarify this certification issue there. There is a lot of initiatives here, like the Open Learning Initiative, like the Ubiquity is the first market-oriented enterprise company in the area of California, trying to do this new large, massive online open courses. MITx is the last try there, or EDX from MIT and Harvard. There is a lot of all the major universities now in America, in the United States, are going to this new massive online open courses initiative. Why? This is a not real clear why they are going to this place. Of course, this is not a business claim for a short time, because they will not take money from this process. They will take, of course, analytics, which is part of the gaining information from these people, the analytics people, try to know how these people, how these 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 students in only one subject will have behavior, will have this behavior to learn, and of course the teachers and the people that will manage this kind of platforms will have the information how will manage it and how will these people will be engaged to follow this. And as I know, the problem now is the certification. The first courses that MIT will develop will be with a self-accreditation identity. Each person is responsible for his own identity. This is good if you have one person, 2, 10, but you have 10,000 or 100,000 people. It's impossible to have this kind of accreditation there. Now there is some movements like open badges or some other backpacks are going there. So they're trying to be a complement to this kind of courses to be for the future. We'll talk a little bit about biometrics at the last part of the presentation. Then we have now in the place where we are now with this kind of things, and the new issues that are going to the education and are going, of course, to the labs, remote labs and competency labs, is the mobile and augmented learning. Mobile mobility is inserted in any kind of things. All kind of augmented reality, like links that you have in books, or you will have in Enriched ebooks there, you will have more interest and more attraction to that. This is one of the ways of work now, the kind of widgets that we have in there, and this should be one of the more important and more interested areas that the people is working to try to attract and to try to have people working in this kind of tablets as a real future environment to work there. Of course, mobiles are really small to have some kind of information. PCs and mobile computers, portable computers, are probably too strong and too large, and this kind of medium-sized equipment that have 1 or 2 days battery life and will have a quiet time there are really good environments to work with this. And this, of course, should be one of the future probably major actors in this kind of remote access there. There is a lot of new platform like ebooks or like some location-based augmented reality, where you could have a lot of information about new environments if you are there or you are
Dark side of the moon. Yes. Looking right.
There is a lot of initiatives, as I said, that we have some in Spain of a photovoltaic area about information when you are near there or in cities. But we have some really nice project last year, and it was in REV and Madrid. Then we have some kind of augmented reality to go people walking around the city and taking some specific place to have more information on these places and to share this information with all. There was around 1,000 people working in this visit to Madrid, and they were sharing in real time a collaborative platform to share pictures, share links, share areas, and to have more information about the visitor. This kind of application around now is really interesting in other places. One of the new areas now is gamification. The games are in every place there. Probably it's not my generation, it's not the new generation, but the generation now from 15 to 30, 35 years is a really game generation. And we have to probably start to change to think about remote labs with games and some kind of some integration of the games and the real time. Of course, it should be addictive. For my position, it's really difficult to have an additive for a game sharing with education, but of course, for the future people will be the way that we have to work in the future. And one of the importance is the learning analytics. I said before, all the people that is now making a lot of hits in the new massive courses is because they like to know how they will behave or how will be the area of the work or the student that have there. This kind of integration of all the issues there, the data mining of the students learning, when you have 1 or 10 or 100, this is not important, but when you have 100,000 students doing the same things, you have a lot of information on how they will really, is the behavior they have, how they will really integrate the knowledge, how they will really integrate the competences, and how they will be working together with, probably in this case, 10 or 100 teachers or tutors that are working there. This is the future, trying to know exactly how the behavior of the students will work. And how this initiatives impacts in the engineering education. Of course, in our case, the major part of the interest is regarding to the virtual and remote labs. This is one of the parts that should be really interesting for us. Simulations continue being one of the largest areas too, because it's a really complementary part between labs and the simulation for the education. Video lectures are one of the largest movement now to have a lot of information, mainly in the internet. And one part of these resources are the assessment. We need to transmit to our students if they are going okay or not, and if they have some troubles in some moments, how they will improve this knowledge. These new initiatives, as I call, is some of the ebooks it gives you, massive online or peer-to-peer learning environment that should be really useful for learning people. One of the problems that we have always is the sharing of this working or this time there between institutions. Here we talk a lot of this, we saw later the Gold Sea initiative a bit about here, and all things there. We have now a lot of places, we have not a lot, we have many places now in the world, probably 10 or 20 different institutions split around the world that were working in several more or less similar areas, in this case in engineering, in electronics and electrical engineering there. And we are trying now to join some kind of efforts, trying to have a wider view, sometimes in open environments, sometimes in just closed environment for our institutions. But the idea is to try to share this information for the future and these equipments are for the future. In this case, we have to improve all applications there. Other problem that we have now is that all applications should work in any device. This is a real problem, mainly for the mobile system, because mobile system are really smaller there. Of course, this is the best hardware that we can use because everyone has one in the pocket. But of course, today there is a lot of trouble, like one of them use some plugins and some are different plugins. Each one is different. We have to have a lot of reprogramming before then. If you have an iPhone, it's not compatible with Android, and it's not compatible with other things to learn in Microsoft and so on. But for the future, there should be really more easy to work on this kind of stuff. And of course, this is the last part of the gamification there. We need to introduce some kind of new patterns inside our laboratories. We have to introduce the levels, badges, points, karmas, confrontation, collaboration, trying to have a more collaborative environment for the people to be more engaged in the theater. If we have a practice that you have to do in a VC or another system there, and your only objective in the practice is to have a system working well, this is not, on sometimes this is not really motivating for the students. Right? You put some kind of shared application there, and when each one of the students do the thing within the time that you have to do, and with the spectrum or set that you have, and you put there some points, or you put there some kind of new levels, and new areas of work, making confrontation and collaboration with other people, then probably you will be more engaged to be working. And one of the last part is that there should be more security. This is one of the problems that we have now, mainly in the, of course, in the remote and distance lab. If we are working in remote lab, we have the same problem. We need to know if the person that is connected to the system is the person that is connected, because this part of this information and all the part of the person has to develop and has to perform in this case will be inside his track record, inside his scaffold, and inside his part of the working there. And today there is a problem. We are using biometric for this time, but it's really complicated there. But one of the problems that we have today is the multiple identities, because when you are in a digital area, you can have not only one identity as you have in a personal one, but you have multiple identities, digital identities, and which one of these identities should be the real that is connected with one person that is working with a remote system and so on. As I said, this is a lot of problems that we have today. What we are thinking about this is not, and this is part of the open environment there, but thank you. But of course, our part of this work is not so late yet. And this kind of secure problems is one of the real challenges for the future, trying to adapt the whole environment. Okay, thank you. We have a long way to walk. This is the more or less is the picture of the state that we are now, where we are going. There's we have a lot of way to walk. Online labs, traditional laboratories is the part that we have today. Major people here involved in this kind of remote labs, in instrumentation in this conference. And we try to improve all the things together. We have virtual labs, all combination of this kind of labs, virtual, remote, web-based, is really good for the major part of the competencies implication of the students inside the engineering studies, mainly, but in any kind of knowledge area, they can have labs to work there. Major part of the things is a new tool, is a new resource that you can use in blended learning. The good thing in blended learning, blending is the major part of the learning. You You could use any kind of tools, any kind of methodologies, any kind of working to have a best transmission of the knowledge to the students there. In this case, you will have online learning, you have distance learning, you will have presential, you will have tutors, and you will have acquired virtual labs or remote labs to improve this learning. You could use these remote labs in any kind of the educational fields, from electronics, electrical, if you are more devoted to this kind of areas, but you can use it in chemistry, physics, anatomy, biology, education. We have several examples in different ways, like in chemistry in some places, anatomy, or mainly in this case is the visual system that we use in some kind of application. We have a visual network working with several systems around the world. But we can use this to share this kind of new remote systems to share with more people there. This kind of labs will work mainly in the internet, of course. You can have access from any place, and you can share any kind of partner things. We try to share this major part application using sharing architecture there. In our cases, we have three major architectures to work today. iLab, we work a little bit on this. This is the MIT architecture, trying to have a wider and really well-established architecture to have a new remote labs integrated to people there. 12 of those, from here from Sahara, from Australia. They are the three major architectures to share this kind of remote labs working there. And we have some standards trying to integrate and trying to use a more devoted integration of the remote labs inside the platform, like the Google Core and REV or Score. And now we have a new development that is here at the right. Education science is pushing a new working group on the standard for the working smart learning for online laboratory. The idea is to try to have a new standard in this kind of online laboratories, try to be as a standard of architecture. We are starting now the working group, and we expect the typical time for a standard should be 1 to 3 years. How is it work? Probably we'll have some standard for this kind of networking smart online laboratories in the world. Which kind of architecture I tell? We have mainly the ISA, iLab shared architecture. It's mainly devoted to mass experiment in the beginning, but now it works as interactive experiments, and they can share the same clients, different broken servers, like share different remote labs, and finally the laboratory manager, and they are sharing and they have some small pieces of time for each one of the students or for each one of the users, trying to use the same remote lab, everyone at each time in any moment. In the remote lab is only one resource. This is one of the most used shared architecture there now. And there is a lot of different implementations, and one in Africa, Uganda, Nigeria, Tanzania, Malaysia, in Europe, in Austria, and still in Brussels. In Australia, we have some of them, and mainly in Massachusetts and MIT, they have the main repository there and the main system there. Well, this is a different issue there. One is more devoted with a really nice architecture, devoted to integrate any kind of system like the same PC or like the same iLab should be integrated with this, because they use a plugin system to try to integrate some new devices, some new remote labs inside this new architecture. We use there, in our case, in the net, we have an implementation well on desktop, and we have several routers like PC Integrator, like iLab, like FPGAs or robots in this case. And the last one is the Sahara, as I told you. There is a network of remote laboratories. There is Australian University there, mainly in the Cork University. Here is the law. Queensland, RIT in South Australia and Sydney. They share this kind of technologies, this kind of architecture to share between all these universities the access to several remote labs there in Australia. And of course, all the students have the best part that they share the same architecture, the same labs, they share to perform their competences in this case. It should be an integrated view of the scales, some labs there, some labs, web labs, or they're trying to be shared in the future. Now there is a lot of work in this case, like some work in VLAC, in CTI, they are working, trying to have a is it issue or is it build some kind of network services of remote labs there. Challenges that we have in these shared architectures, of course, these architectures are not able to speak too much between one to other. Normally they are devoted for each one. I decided to standardize some part of this one. Goal C, the Global Online Laboratories Consortium that we have yesterday a meeting here in the REV probably conference. We are trying to challenge these things. There are a lot of institutions that we belong to this consortium and trying to have this propose this kind of interoperability between platforms, between resources, trying to have easy migration between different versions of the platform, and trying to reuse some learning resources. Which kind of standards we can use now for this? Kind of standards are, of course, Building Core and LLOB as a IEEE metadata definition. This is really some part of the view of the lab. Another one is score, I have some trouble depending the agent and the place that we can talk about. Learning design, trying to use some part of use, the pedagogy part of this, and of course VTI for all the part of the modeling of the question and test and having some assessment there in the system. We have some examples trying to use this kind of standards today. There are two major projects inside the European Commission. One is Lab2Go, another one is LILA. Lab2Go try to generate ontology, trying to have this information of the existing labs there. Is based in Building Core, and we have some ontology to define this kind of remote, virtual, and hybrid labs, experiments, and try to have an observation of the experiment, a controlling experiment, an adaptive experiment as a final user. They have some really nice website where you can enter there and try to use some part of the experiment there and have a lot of information if you're interested in this kind of standard and sharing information with the Lab2Go. The other one is LILA. LILA is trying to use some web servers in this case for the portal and have a database tool for experiments. And using in this case SCORM packages to have the sharing information. You may define the experiment, the resources, the remote lab there in SCORM, and trying to have the structure of the SCORM package that will use it and have all the people downloading the SCORM and trying to develop in the system. Problem that has today the SCORM, they are trying to be changing in the future for the new definition of SCORM. They miss some part of rich multimedia. You have to put in multimedia interactive. There is no possible today to use SCORM for these kind of things. SCORM need to have an authentication mechanism trying to give people authentication when they have to review this. And the standards are really more that should be integrated today in the SCORM. And for the today, for integration, there should be some kind of mashups trying to integrate all the information there for the future as application, platforms, and infrastructure together in the same environment for the remote lab. This kind of standards, of course, we need to have a tracking of the next generation score. This is now in development, and probably they will have some one of the missing things today, like the dynamic application, dynamic data. Soon we'll probably try to integrate some kind of games, simulations, virtual world, and some more information inside, some more rich information inside the score. But today, and probably for the next version, should be not enough for our needs for the today world. And of course, we need for the future to have a multimodal content that is not used today. This kind of multimodal is not included in the today learning management systems. Probably for the future, all this kind of widgets like tablets, smartphones, and laptops will be integrated there, and today is not really well integrated yet. This is the view in general to have this kind of application. We have the smart devices integrated in the website, the assessment, all the portfolio of the students, and this kind of mashup should be the real future that we have to work on this. Trying to have all the mashup, all integrated inside one platform, that should be Moodle, Sakai, any one platform for the future, and trying to be all integrated inside the student part and inside the teacher part. That should be managed, any one of these pieces of information inside the course that we have to manage for the future. These virtual and remote labs needs to have this kind of information integrated, assessments, forums, visual track and tutorials, And one part of today's improvement in the labs is to try to be the labs integrated inside the learning management systems for today. This is the view to try to integrate and have a learning management system that is the core part of the system here, where the students normally they connect, and from the learning management systems you should later go, in any case, to some part of information, some new contents, or in other cases, to some software lab, or to some real lab using any kind of architecture there, like we saw in this case iLab, or all different VCR or different laboratory there. To do that, of course, the main part of the major part of the activity should be done in the learning management system, and this should be adapted. Normally it's using today a major part of open learning management system to try to modify this and to integrate all the information inside. This is the view of some different paths for the student, teacher, and administrators being integration of these applications inside the learning management system. We are doing this inside UNED. We are using UNED ALF. ALF is some version of the open ACS, Learn, as a learning management system, and we are integrating all these new ideas or the new issues there inside our platform for our students there. I will tell a little bit more about the massive open courses. It's the new view. All major institutions are trying to go there. As I told, the real business model plan is not yet clear. For me, at least, it's not clear. I was talking the last week in Boston with people from MITx, and they have a not clear business plan for the future exploitation of this area. But for now, they are going there with the idea of how this kind of analytics I told you before. They like to know how is the behavior of the students, because if they know the behavior for the future, they will have a clear advantage over the other people that will be fighting for this future like that. Udacity, as I told, is the first company that is mainly what they did. They started as a spin-off with some people that was working in the California area, and now they try to integrate the best teacher with the best, in this case, courses, and try to have a lot of students involved there. In this case, mainly it's a closed environment with paying for the kids there. And Harvard University and MIT had the last signing 1 month ago, the EDX, actually in the same area. And we in the net has to a new project, mainly is developed by the CCEB. CCEB is one private foundation from the UNED, and UNED, in this case with Telefonica and MIT for the courses. And we are developing a new project that should be for the Spanish and Portuguese speaking community, for the South America mainly, and in Spain and Portugal. We're trying to have a new collaborative environments in the economics activities and the economics area. Trying to put there some new courses, economics courses too, and trying to have a collaborative environment. We have a collaborative area, mainly in open, but probably will be in the future some paying services and some closing services. Trying to involve a lot of people there and trying to have this kind of information that should be engaged for the future. This kind of all labs and all ideas must have new problems for the future. New ideas that we have to develop. I take some ideas from the IEEE. The IEEE developed a new conference. The name of the conference is Technology Time Machine. The first was developed last year, 2011, in Hong Kong, and they put us a new areas of knowledge for the future: the Internet of Things, the cloud and service computing, mobile and ubiquitous systems, security, and after this, that should be more directly implemented in our learning area, in our regular labs area, the smart grids and the health and biosystems. This should be the areas that IEEE believe that should be for the future working business. Internet of Things, more or less, is the new segment of applications there. It's a new, more area going set of the cloud computing there, and the idea is to have everything that should be in the internet should be a service that will be used for the future. This should be a new area. This is in the area of the Federation of Learning Labs, the Federation of Labs there, trying to put these pieces of information inside the new Internet of Things, and any person, any people should be using there, integrated in some place, integrated in some lab, integrated in some platform, or alone if you like to do it in any case there. This should be, of course, using some mobilities on some ecosystems. And in this case, the biometric that I told you is one of the key stones to define. We need to have some clear idea of who is the identity of the people and why these people is trying to do that. We are making a working group inside our department, people there in the biometric area. Today, the biometric is widely accepted, or people is now using the airport, security, any place there, and is using in any part. Mainly fingerprint is the major using there. All people is working in this area. There is a lot of biometric authentication security multi-layer that will be used there. And we combine this kind of labs with this new technology. Inside the net, we performed this in the labs 2 years ago and the last year for small groups, normally groups from 20 to 30 people there, and we are using this kind of biometrics to control the people inside the lab and to know whether the people is doing the work inside it. And of course, we are trying to extend this one to the examinations in internet, but we are now mainly developing inside the system. There are several diagrams. This is the general view of the integration inside the learning system. We integrate this application inside our Learn in this case, and we can do it inside our courses. You could use, of course, this kind of information together with the typical traditional authentication with username and password there. And in some moments use one of these, in some other one. We make some tries and we make some development for integrate this in Moodle and it works okay. And you can have the student and remotely, and from each time to time make some questions on specific or putting the finger in the mouth that you have with the fingerprint reader there. We need to integrate, of course, some kind of new libraries inside the applications to work with this, but it's working okay. And of course, the major part of the time consuming is the place when you have to enroll all the students, you have all the students to enroll. Yeah. We're making real traces, as we call it, trying to students, and all was thinking that was working okay and it's really secure for them to have this thing. Today is safer, easier, and fastest, and we are working. For the future, the idea is to try to convert the distance into dynamics and try to put people is more quiet and more safe. For the future project, we are trying to make some development in face recognition because this is the new area there, trying to have the webcam inside the systems, and trying to know in the parallel if the person is the one that has to do, and at the same time we know if the person is angry, worried, happy, or wise involved in there, and try to use this kind of information to give in some new areas of the labs and some areas of the knowledge there, trying to integrate or to involve more the student in the work. We are working in these cases, and we have one new application that we are trying to integrate there, working robotics to interact with children. All these cases we'll be using with serious games, with animation, and so on. One of the other major parts of the application that we are working is the Ubiquities. We are working in learning systems, and the idea is to try to know integrated this one with mobile device and future technologies for engineering. We have one portal, name is there, and you have this application. All this presentation I didn't tell before that is now loaded in the slide share, and you will download later if you like it there, and will be of course in the conference website. We have then a new portal that is mainly devoted for technologies for engineering implementation. When we have some, we use mainly the horizontal report to try to know what will be the evolving in the further 5 to 10 years, trying to be mainly devoted to engineering implementation. One of these future, of course, applications is the mobile devices, is the more promising environment to work in the future, but today we have some problems. Mainly problems is, of course, any one of the different operating systems is completely different. Flash didn't work in Apple machines, in the iPhones and iPads, or Microsoft has some troubles with other different plugins from different Android and so on there. And this is one of the problems that we have there. And of course, if you try to have some small views and some website cameras integrated inside this mobile device, it's really difficult to see the major part of the application. It's possible to see in thousands, of course, the larger, in this case, is important, But in some other cases, if you only have to go load some program and take some results, you will do it okay inside the system. For the future, of course, we're trying to avoid this kind of native applications. Is the best one, but it's really expensive to create and to maintain. We need to maintain this, and the future is in midway. And of course, one of the things that most people is trying to start today to testing is this kind of new enriched ebooks, trying to be these new tablets and new systems, the real entry points for all the labs, all the applications, and all the creative. And all the, of course, mobile web applications should be adapted in the future for these environments, trying to avoid TVs and network difference. This is another view of the future now. This is the 2012 conference of the IEEE. It was in Germany in this last May. And now they continue telling that, of course, the future will be in the network services and cloud computing. Now they appear a new element, a new area is the collective intelligence. Collective intelligence is the add of all the system, the mashup, typical mashup from the website there. Is a new variation of the Internet of Things, and it's the new area of future for the now. And the other one is the media and immersive. All the new media, all the sharing, all the collaborative area, rich area, is the new one that should be the future for this one. Cloud computing is part of this project, of course. Cyber physical systems is a more real-time system with a wireless environment, remote instrumentation, of course. Here they should be really involved with the remote labs as our future area of work. And all these guys, cyber physics systems will be the complex system for the future, and we have to work in this area for the labs in the future. When we have this kind of cyber physical systems, we have to think in remote labs for the future and try to have some grants or some projects for the future in this against the European community there. And collective intelligence, as I told you, is the merging of the new area of collaborative and competition of individuals. This is the way to do it. This is has some kind of gaming, as I told before. We need to put to the students, to the people, to the users in general in the Internet of Things, which some kind of new objectives, new targets to be developed for the future. If not, it will be quit and will be out in the future. Connectivity, of course, will be more speed, more network, probably cheaper in some cases. But of course, for the future, we have to think mainly in the, of course, more developed areas, that the network will be not a problem, and of course, the system and the service will be the thing that the people will like. And of course, the media will be one really large part of this, all the immersive environments, all the data that should be involved should be okay. What are we doing in this case inside IEEE? IEEE, if you don't know it, is an American society. It is the Electronic and Electrical Institute in the United States, but major part of the members belongs to outside the United States. Now, we are more or less 400,000 members in all the world, engineers in general, but major part of them, more than 200,000 are outside the United States in this case. Inside the IEEE, we have one education society. All this work of the engineering and education and so on is involved in this part. And we're working educational methods, technology, materials, accreditation, history, of course, and education and development of our members there. We support some conferences. Our major conference is FIE, Frontiers in Education. It's mainly every year in the United States. This year is in Seattle, this year is in Oklahoma City. But in 2014 it's in Madrid. Then you have, it will be the first time in the last 20 years that is out in the United States. It will be Madrid. I will organize this in Madrid. And we are also all invited to be in Madrid in 2014 October to be there in this case. But we developed another new conference. The name is EduConf. This is mainly in the European, Middle East and Africa area. We have the first one was in Madrid, 2010. Then 2011 was in Jordan. 2012 was in Marrakesh, and next year, 2013, will be in Berlin. Then in April, it's a really nice place to go there. And we have another new one, the name is TAIL. TAIL is mainly devoted for the region 10 area, for Asia. This year will be the first one in August in Hong Kong. Next year will be the second one in August too, in Malaysia area. And we have a lot of support for different conferences like the REV, like the ECL, like ICL, or this is one of the conferences that we support from the Education Society. with the idea to have a more dissemination activity, because all the proceedings that we develop in this conference I later published in the IEEE Explorer and really widely accepted for all the people around the world. We have some journals there. Transactions on Education is our major publication where we can try to send information and send papers there. But we have two other ones like Transactions on Learning Technologies, IEEE Reader, that is now a new publication that should be to index it in the Education Society, or other minor publications like the Interface or the ETEN, not devoted for students in this case. But for the future, another part that we have to do, all these kind of conferences and publications will change really dramatically. All people is starting to change now. Open publication is starting really strong there. There is not as clear as if the final open accessibility and open should be following the way today, that you will pay for the publication, or who will pay for the publication. If the final open will be really open or with some kind of payments. This area of conferences and publication will change a lot, and probably one major part of the change will be the increasing of the interactivity in this publication. We need to put only not a paper that you publish once time and is fully stopped for the time, but probably we need to put there some kind of interactivity. To finish today, thank you to be here. Sorry for the mashup of acronyms, letters, technologies. I believe I put a lot of new things in your heads. If you have later any question, you can ask me in the coffee break there. I like to remind you that you have a lot of new initiatives working in labs, working in learning management systems like iLab, LabShare, or well as Devstos, or Lila, or Labs to go there. We have a lot of students working in this area. We have now a lot of PhD theses. This is a really area of work there. Don't forget that the future probably is for the new gadgets in this case, like tablets and smartphones and so on. All integration, of course, should be doing the courses, the contents, and the information that we manage. Having this information as documents as a remote labs is the real future of our education, of course. We will need some kind of accreditation. This accreditation is the key part of today and for the future. And of course, I would like to thank some part of my project I have today and my people inside my team. Elio, Mohamed, Alberto, Gabi is here, Sergio, Maria Jose, Antara, and Charla, part of my team, and you help me develop this presentation. Thank you very much, and if you have some questions, you have 2 minutes for questions.
Broad overview about online laboratories and other fields. Questions? I think we have more minutes.
Everything's clear, everything's yes.
Questions? No, I think you already answered
I kill everybody there. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Manuel.